Hi, this is Eric Seaman, and I'm the REACCH Environmental Data Manager. And today we're going to be talking about the REACCH data management system, and in particular, how to access the REACCH data library. The Regional Approaches to Climate Change is a coordinated regional agricultural project that's funded by the USDA's National Institute for Food and Agriculture to improve the long-term profitability of cereal production systems in the Pacific Northwest, with a particular emphasis on climate change. REACCH includes efforts in research, extension, and education, and you can find out more information about our project at REACCHPNA.org. The REACCH data management team is made up of a variety of individuals from several different institutions, including the University of Idaho, Washington State University, Oregon State University, as well as the USDA's Agricultural Research Service. REACCH partners with several organizations as well, including the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Northwest Knowledge Network, the Idaho EPSCoR program, as well as Inside Idaho. All of our REACCH data management modules can be found at our REACCH media library, and the media library can be found at reachpna.org/resources. And if you go to the REACCHPNA website, you'll see the resources tab in the upper right-hand corner. All of our data management web modules are meant to assist REACCH members, students, and the public on how to access and use our REACCH data library. All of our data is stored in our data library, and from there it can be downloaded or looked at in a map form. As we make changes to our data library and our website, we'll make updates to these videos, and we'll be posting them and updating them on in our media library. This module is meant to provide an overview of our data library, how REACCH members can access the data library, and very briefly, we'll touch upon how members can upload and meta tag data sets. Very briefly, this is our REACCH data management architecture, and the key point of this slide is that all of our information is accessible through our REACCHPNA.org website. So somebody can come to our website, whether they be a member of the public or a REACCH user who has a secured login, and from there they can upload or search for REACCH data. And you will note that as data is uploaded, it's inserted into our data library's repository. And from there, we have other web service technology that is used to create a map of that data or to allow for the aggregation and subsetting of climatic data. And then we push that information back out to our website through web services. Okay, now I'm going to briefly go over the data library and show some live examples. So here is the data library, and I'm actually on the REACCHPNA.org website. And if I go back to the home page, this is our home page, and I'm actually logged in as a REACCH user, so I'm going to sign out. So this is what the public would see, and you'll note that on our website we have news information. We also have information about our goals and objectives, our conceptual model, and the tabs at the top provide more information in terms of our REACCH meetings and efforts, our researchers and staff, our main areas of research, extension, and education. And if you go to the research link, you'll see all of our research teams, their pages. And then under the Resources tab is where you get information about our data. And you will see a link here to our data library as well as our analysis library, which are the two main components of accessing data. So you can access our data library from this link, or if you scroll down, you'll see a link to our data library here as well. So if I go to this, I actually come back to our REACCH data library. And on the home page of our REACCH data library, you'll see some metrics about how much data we've actually uploaded and the future data sets that we're going to be uploading. And you'll also see a data library video, so if you wanted more information, you could look at this. And you also have a link to our REACCH data dictionary. And if I actually go to the data dictionary, you'll see that it provides an overview of our data content and the structure within our data library. And here you can find out about how our data sets are named and how they can be searched for within our data library. So on the right-hand side is a listing of recently added data sets. And you will see that we not only have typical raw data sets, but we also have publications that have been created by different REACCH investigators. And we have publications such as journal articles or conference presentations, conference papers, webinars, or other dissertations or theses that may have been created by students. And so from here you can actually download this paper or look at the details information of this paper. If I look at the details of this, it actually gives me the abstract information for this paper. I see that it's a journal article and that it's published. And if I scroll down, I see a link to this actual article. And if I click on that, it actually gives me the paper itself. Now from here I could also search for different data sets, or I could scroll and look just at a list of data sets. And as I get further down into the list, I see some data layers themselves. I see some biotics data. I see some modeling data. And each one of these, again, have a details listing of the metadata and also links to the data set itself. And you will note, for this data set, this is a biotics data set for serial cyst nematode data. You will see that I've got two links. I have a download link, and then I actually have a link where I can look at the data in a map form on a website. So if I wanted to download it, I could click on this link and I actually get the data set. And if I open this up, it opens up the actual data set and will let me look at that data in an Excel spreadsheet. But if I wanted to, I could actually look at this data in a web format. And when I click on that link, it actually takes us to our ArcGIS directory of data. And I'm looking at the map service itself. So I could look at this in a JavaScript manner. I could look at it in an arcgis.com map. I could actually download the data if I wanted to use ArcGIS Desktop to look at the data. Or if I wanted to look at the data set in a map form. Let's try that again. Here it is, the JavaScript link. There we go. So I'm looking at, for 2011, serial cyst nematode data. If I open up the details link of this and then look at the content, I see the layer there If I click on that, it provides the data set that's part of the layer. From here, if I wanted to, I could actually look at the table of this data. And so from here, I could actually look at the data that is included as part of this. I see the serial sys density. So if I wanted to look at a particular record and I highlighted this, it actually highlights that record in the map itself. So this provides an interactive view of the data as well as the data that is behind the actual map. And you'll note these are pop-ups, so the data library is still open to that page that I was looking at. If I wanted to, I could also go to an advanced search, where if I was interested in very particular information, I had a search query I was interested in. I've got some in here. You'll see I've got some searches that I'm looking for agro-ecozone data. So if I wanted to look for a data set that had that name in it, I see agro-ecozone data. I see cropland data layer information. And so if I wanted to, I could look at agro-ecozone data and I could get the ArcGIS layer file. So if I wanted to download that data and look at it in ArcGIS, I could. Or if I just wanted to actually look at the data in a web browser, I could go to the details page and go to the map server link. And I see once again a way to look at it in JavaScript or via an ArcGIS.com map. And there it is, the agro-ecozone data for 2011. And lastly, if I had a bit of information, or I was looking for a piece of information such as a data layer, but I just knew like the author's name. For example, Dr. Sanford Eigenbrod, who is the director of our project. If I was interested in some data that he had uploaded, okay, I see some publications listed here that has his name on it. I also see some data sets that he's contributed. And if I was interested in one of these data sets, such as this SweepNet 2012 data, I could actually download that data set and get the Excel spreadsheet. Or if I wanted to, I could look at the details of that and look at the map service. And once again, look at it in an ArcGIS.com map. And I could look at some of the sweep map data. And again, if I wanted to, I could look at this in a table format for 2012 SweepNet data. And you will note that if I select these records, they actually highlight. So as we add more data, we will be, you will see that appearing in our REACCH data library, and we will regularly update our metrics to show how much data that we've updated. And thank you for watching our video, and we hope that you would go to our website and check out our information. Thank you very much.